fellow people of the Southern Cameroon territory, citizens of Ambazonia. Today I come to you with two good news of military operations that have been conducted by the Ambazonian Defense Forces in the Savannah states. But first, you know I came into this office in the backdrop of the massacre that took place in Capo, where a young man of 32 years old hid himself in the bush and watched with horror how the Cameroon military execute 7 members of his family, 7 children, and burned them all in his house. In total, a number of 37 or more people were killed, and many people are still missing in Capo. Over 14 children were murdered, execution style. The whole village rounded up and lynched by the Cameroon military. 7 days after, in a small village called Ferro in Capo, the Cameroon military again have executed 7 members of Pa Saka in his house and burned all of them with his children, the entire family burnt alive. By now, every Southern Cameroonian and the international community know very well with the proof and the report presented to them by Amnesty International, statement made by the Catholic Church, by international personality including the United Nations. What we knew all along, that the Cameroon military have been using terrorism, torture, rape as a military tactics to subdue our people under a diabolic form of recolonization of our territory. There is no way our people can live in any shape or form with La République du Cameroon. Never ever again. Our people must mobilize themselves in the wake of suspicious inaction by the international community to allow the impunity of the Cameroon military to continue its genocidal terrorism acts in our territory. Our people must mobilize themselves as if this war depends on them, because the international community have failed in its responsibility to invoke the rights to protect our people. We must fight not with an army that we wish to have, but with the army that we have. We will fight even with our bare hands, as the Ambazonian Defense Forces will continue to mobilize resources to provide for our people the ammunition they need to protect themselves against this act of terrorism from La République du Cameroon army. Within the past week, our soldiers on ground zero have launched a brazen attack in between Bamenda and Bengui Road using explosive devices targeting 2 hillocks from La République du Cameroon forces. In less than 12 hours from this pitch, our military men and women have launched a brazen attack in a construction site in Bamendankwe, where the Cameroon government and its terrorist military officials were struggling to set up an outpost. We have neutralized 2 of its military personnel who have been perpetrating the act of terrorism of La République du Cameroon and recover some of their military equipment, including 1 automatic rifles. The Ambazonian Defense Forces will continue to lead the way and collaborate with all other pro-independent forces on ground zero to execute the war to stop the impunity of La République du Cameroon military act of terrorism in our territory. We are calling on all Ambazonian citizens to provide to me through WhatsApp the location, description, and pictures of all Cameroon military personnel in the Savannah states. We want you to monitor their movement. We want to know where they eat. We want to know where they drink. We want to know the motels where they visit. We shall hunt them and neutralize them one by one for the act of terrorism that they are perpetrating on our territory. We call on our citizens to monitor, including those elements of those forces that are guarding banks. We want to know wherever they live, their location and their pictures. Send them to me and your identity will be kept secret. We have called and ordered all our forces on ground zero, the generals and the commanders, to appoint civil coordinators that will work at their discretion to liaise and synchronize our military operation with our civilians' resistance on the ground. These coordinators will be appointing official informant, and you can actually act as an informant and operate directly with me. Take pictures and give description of the location of all Cameroon military personnel because they are an imminent danger to the life and survival of our people. This is an existential fight. I want to also use this opportunity to tell all those who are working or operating or even participating in Cameroon government schools in our territory, in particularly in the Savannah zone, to desist from doing so. And you have just 2 weeks, which is just a period of grace. We want the name, pictures, and location of all teachers and principal of such said school. And we are calling on all children to stop using those facilities of alien education system within our territories. We are going to take action to stop those schools from operating that will fall within the realms of the Geneva Convention. We are also going to ask on all schools to desist from teaching La République du Cameroun French and following their curricula, in particularly teaching history within all those other schools that we have used a passive approach to somehow play blind while they operate within our territory, because we have not yet opened sufficient community schools to accommodate those children. Our military planners are currently engaged in planning for specific military operation as reprisal attack in the backdrop of the Gabu massacre. We are going to attack La République du Cameroun in a reprisal attack that is going to send them a specific message that we will not tolerate any longer the impunity with which they kill our people, innocent civilians, without any regard of human life. I'm also using this opportunity to give this instruction to our people. No Ambazonian Defense Force military personnel will be given back up to any other sister group if they get into any operation without giving us any hints. And we are also instructing by this communique all Ambazonian Defense Forces not to move in areas that are being controlled by other forces without having pre-conversation with those forces on how our engagement or participation in that territory is going to look like. And we call on them to provide such, to record such communication and provide them to me within 24 hours of that conversation. And we also encourage other sister forces to do the same. Keep all communication safe in the diaspora. Fellow Southern Cameroonians, the Ambazonian Defense Forces will continue to mobilize our resources to make sure we provide the military hardware that we deserve, that our people need to defend themselves and to liberate our land from La République du Cameroun recolonization and the act of terrorism that are perpetrated against our people on a daily basis. We are calling on our civilians and our people in ground zero and in the diaspora to do their part to fund the resistance. This is an existential threat, and nobody should sit and think that it does not concern you. This is not a war we choose, but this is a war we must fight. We should fight and mobilize ourselves as if there is no other person existing on the planet, because the international community have failed us in its responsibility, and we shall not fail our own people. We shall fight and defend our rights to life. We shall fight and defend our territory and defend our independence and our territorial integrity. This war continues to depend solely on our shoulders and the help of God. We call on our people for ground zero, for continue for whole grass, and for obey the ghost town every Monday, when are the only way we show the international community. So we want complete independence. We will also talk so we don't appoint and instruct our commanders of ground zero for appoint civilians where they go act as coordinator for all the 7 states for the Savannah zone, for the talk between the population and our military people, for synchronize their action. We will also call on all our commanders for appoint this coordinator, me the coordinator, them go for work immediately, for set up a network for informant the way they go to communicate with the coordinator, for provide information for La République du Cameroun, their movement and their anticipated movement across our territory. We need for the monitor them 24 hours, including persons of interest that are violating the laws of our revolution. We also talk, say me all our man and able men and women, in particularly for rural area them, where La République du Cameroun feels that they get away with this act of terrorism. Me then keep in contact with our military personnel, and they will be safer for stay with the Ambazonian Defense Forces than for begin stay like those dog fowl the way the video can kill them anyhow. Una must understand by now, with the overwhelming evidence where it happen from place to place, say the Cameroon government then decide to kill all man for Ambazonia as much as they can. So we no go allow them to kill we at their will. We must fight back for stop this impunity. We must fight for liberate and protect our sovereignty and our territorial integrity as people for the Southern Cameroon territory, Ambazonia. We call on all our commanders for work together with other force them. We talk say me no commander, e no go for any place where another commander or another force they operate day we never inform them and then record the communication send for we move keep them. All Ambazonian forces of ground zero, they must unite in purpose, even as them be diverse. Like we get different branches of an army, but they must work together like one and maintain good communication. We ask all our people them, where they for town and for village, say me then take picture for all la Republic du Cameroon, their army and their police and all their personnel the way they be engaged for the war. When I take their picture, describe their location, when I tell we place where they go chop, when I tell we hotel the way they go sleep for the woman them, when I send we that picture from my WhatsApp number directly. We also talk, say me gonna take picture for all brasserie, their manager and their depot them, place where they go put their beer them where they for inside our territory. Because that beer they sell them, go buy weapon, they can kill our people them. We also talk, say me all man is stop for go for government, Cameroon government school them. We talk, say me gonna take picture for the PTA, their president, for the principal and the teacher, the way they teach your government school for all the 7 states them, for the Savannah zone. Because say those school them na alien school, the way they be banned for Ambazonia. For private school them and mission school them, where would they take a passive approach for just cover our eye, like so we need to see them. Because we never open enough community school. We talk for them, say if any school then catch them where they teach French or they teach Cameroon history for inside our class, then that school will be closed immediately and we will take action for stop them, where the action will be in line with our tradition and custom and the Geneva Convention. We also talk, say me will not take picture for the colonial DO them and the SDO, including their government delegate and their personnel the way they work for inside Ambazonia. We not take their picture, their location, we not send them for we. We also request, say any violator where we go participate for the alien election, whether na council member or na councilor, where they don't written name, say either win the election. We not take a picture, we not take a location, we not send them for the Ambazonia Defense Forces. Country people, we must stand up together, work hand in hand, for make sure say we will survive the La Republique du Cameroon, the genocide where they carry for Ambazonia. No man, talk say, it be concerning. They key all man where them fit according to where they fit hide them. We talk say, make we stand up, we obey this ghost town way they every Monday. Because na the only way we civilian people them, we show the war. So we no one for stay with La Republique together in any shape or form. And with one talk say with the way they run Kiwi, so they don't pass 20,000 people them. With this impunity, use acts of terrorism, killing innocent civilians the way they no consent for inside war. Say me no man, not even dream again. So if we ever stay with La Republique for any shape or form, we must separate and go our separate way. We must get our independence completely. So make we stand up strong. And make we fight, like say now only we will there for this war. Make we will fight, we not go fight now with the army where we imagine and forget them, but we must fight with way to go get them. We must learn to be more effective with the smart thing we'll get them. And the Ambazonia Defense Force will continue to gather resources them, make sure they will get the weapon the way where people they need them, for defend themselves and for fight for our liberation struggle. May God bless una. My name is Capo, the Deputy Defense Chief for the Ambazonia Defense Forces. Bye-bye.